We are doing another one, what's new in indie makeup. We are trying 4 new collections that are being released by indie brands. I'm gonna give you 4 different tutorials. We are gonna be chatting about which one is best, which one do I like the most, how are the swatches, how do I feel about these things. I'm gonna show you close-ups and swatches of 4 of these releases that I have here in front of me. I am wearing the new Nomad palette. This is the Mount Fuji 5 Lakes palette, I think. I also have the new collection or the new release by Garden. I also have this By Us palette. It's called Garden Busters. This is a new indie brand started by the same people that are behind Oden's Eye. They wanted to start something that was a little bit more, I don't know, colorful, playful. We're gonna have to talk about that a bit. And this is the new palette from Gourmande Girls. I think it's called Gourmandises. I keep saying that incorrectly. And then we have the collaboration between Nomad Cosmetics and DoniDarkowitz. I do have this collab here as well. It is this super colorful thing here. In these videos, what I do is that I show you a close-up of the collection, show you some swatches, I do a tutorial, and then at the end of the video, I basically tell you how do I feel about all of these, which one is the best one, which one would I recommend. This is not a shop with me video though. If you're not interested in any of these releases, just see this as 4 different colorful tutorials back to back where you can get some inspiration, shop your own stash. But if you were interested in any of these releases, there will be like swatches, close-ups, demo, and a quick little mini review after my first impression, or with the Nomad palette, my second impression. I'm just trying to help out a little bit in the makeup jungle out there because I do realize that there's so many things being released, and I'm just trying to help you if you were looking for something new, what is the right one for you? And maybe none of these are right for you. At least you got 4 tutorials. So let's jump in to tutorial number 1, which I think is with the By Us palette. That's where we're starting. And I don't know if I mentioned this in the beginning, but I'm gonna mention it here in case I forget. I love how like fun and like colorful this palette is. I actually don't mind that the inside has different pan sizes because I know the brand described this brand as a more colorful and playful brand, so I don't mind that at all. I wish it wasn't so thick though. The palette is very thick, so I do wish the next palette could be like a slimmer palette. So I am gonna do green, brown, and yellow on the top, and I think I'm gonna do purple on the bottom. I usually don't do a different bottom, like there's something cohesive about having the same color wrap around, but today I'm actually gonna do purple on the lower lash line. I'm gonna start with this EO4 and I'm gonna do Soil, which is the brown. Oh, I can see my battery is about to end as well. I'm very excited to try this brand. Again, I don't know what I'm mentioning in the beginning or not because I'm pre-filming a little bit, but this brand is actually created by some of the same people that are behind Oden's Eye. And as you know, I have worked with Oden's Eye and the owner of Oden's Eye quite a lot because I've done like palettes with them and everything. So I was very excited. Like we did 3 eyeshadow palettes and lip products together. So I was very excited to hear that they wanted to release another brand that's like a little bit more playful. So I think that was super fun. And when I swatched this palette, I did feel like there are some similarities in the formulations. I also feel like some of the shimmers are those slightly more putty, you know, the kind of shimmers that I don't know if you can even see that in this one here. Like I stuck my finger in it. It's almost like a little putty-esque kind of a shimmer. So I kind of want to use, I should use at least one of those and just see how they are on the eyes. I'm just doing a little brown because I want to make sure that we have the darkest color first. And then we're going to do the green that is called Green Apple. And also me changing battery. Oh, that's a cute green. Almost like a pastel pea. Yes, that's a thing. I will say this one Not super pigmented straight out of the gate. I think you can see. This is the shade Lemonade, and I love a good pastel-y yellow. So I'm gonna put that in the inner part, and I'm using just another EO4. I love shades like this. I think that is so cute. I think I'm gonna try and put this in the inner corner too. I mean, I love a good pastel yellow, like truly. It can be such a like brightening up color. And if you pat it on like this and not like swipe too much, you can definitely get a shade like this to work on a non-warm skin tone too. Because it's when you start like spreading it too thin that it can start looking like a correcting powder instead of like an actual like pastel eyeshadow. So just pat it on and let it be like opaque instead, and that's gonna help a lot. Let's see if we can use, I'm gonna use a little EO7 that already has some purple on it apparently, and there's one that's called Fig. So let's see if we can put that, ooh, that's really pretty, on the lower lash line. And I'm gonna leave a gap here where I am gonna let the purple shimmer come through. I'm gonna make it a little thicker, and I'm gonna meet it up here. So I think I'm gonna use this one. It's called Grape, and I'm gonna put that on the side of an EO1, and we're gonna put that in between the yellow and the purple. So I'm kind of thinking that we're gonna use this one and maybe Melon, but we're gonna start with this one. It's called Sunny. Very fitting name, because when I swatched this one, I was like, I really was like blown away by this, like how pretty it's swatched. It is a little flaky, so we're gonna spray it. Maybe I should spray on the brush, and we're gonna put that here. Yeah, you can tell it's definitely a little flaky, so it does need to be sprayed or used with a finger or with a sponge applicator. I don't use those, but that works too. Oh, that is so pretty. Yeah, we're definitely gonna put the green next to it. Let's do a little bit of the Melon shade, which is the green that has a little bit of almost a purple duochrome. I think this is gonna help with the transition over here, and then just, let me get the right one, this one. A little bit more of Soil, which is the brown, to just blend it together. I think that looks really nice. Like I said, I never do like a different color lower lash line anymore, but that actually looks kind of delightful. I think the look turned out really cute, and I feel like I was very true to the theming of the palette and the theming of the brand, because they did introduce themselves as a more playful, fun, like that kind of a brand. And the Garden Busters, I mean, honestly, I think this palette is super cute, and you know, I don't take makeup that seriously. Makeup is about to have fun. It's not about being pretty or fitting in or being a better version of yourself. You're already your absolute best version. I think makeup is about having fun, and this definitely is fun. And I'm loving the shiny with the matte. Only wish it was a little bit thinner, but that is definitely something that they could maybe fix for the future, or maybe this is just the feeling that they're having for this kind of a launch. But personally, I would love to see a slimmer palette, but I think this is super fun. If you are interested in this, when is this launching? This might already be available. I know they gave me a code. It might be affiliated. I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm gonna have to look it up, but I will per usual leave all the info in the description box. Overall, I think everything performed really beautifully. The green could have been a little bit more pigmented straight out of the gate, but as you can see, I could definitely build it up. The shimmers are a little bit more that putty texture, which is definitely workable, but not my absolute favorite kind of texture. But with that being said, the look is pretty beautiful. But let's get into look number 2. look with the Gourmandises. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I feel a little silly, but I hope I'm saying it somewhat correctly. And I know there's so many fun things in here, but this corner is dragging me in. And I want to do like blue and orange because I'm actually filming my reveal for my blushes, and I am wearing the orange blush, the Persistent Persimmon. So I want to do like blue and orange together. I used to not like that combo, but now I'm into it, and I think I'm gonna start with this one. And I know there's so many combos you could do with this palette, but I'm just really feeling that. So this is Muir. I don't remember. Oh, you can tell this is a prototype. I'm still using it. I approved it. I loved it. I got a lot of fallout, and I kept using it. I think I picked up too much. But I don't remember what fruit. It is not a fruit. Is it a berry? Is it blackberry? I think that Muir is myrrh. Myrrh? I don't know. French is not one of my languages. But I think it's like blackberry or something like that. I think it's like a fruit or a berry in French. I do remember that. Watch this be absolutely incorrect. But I'm gonna do a typical Angie look, but with these muted blue colors. I am feeling that. Sue me. And sometimes, just because you're doing a colorful look, it doesn't mean that you have to do a complicated look. You could still do an easy look, even though it's colorful. I'm gonna do a little bit under here too. I think I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm cleaning it off on a Sigma color switch, and then I'm using Macaron, which is the light blue. Let's not get as much fallout this time because these pick up really good. And let's put that in the inner part of the crease. And I'm also gonna use this to blend out this color here. Oh, that's gonna be so nice. Just buffing it on the edge and then blending it out. And I'll do in the inner part here too. So this is what it looks like when I blended everything together. I will say the light blue is a little sheer in places, but maybe we'll make that work with this Curacao, which is a shimmer shade. I think this one has holographic, yeah, it definitely does, holographic shimmers in it. And those look absolutely beautiful when you're in like low lights. So let's see if we can pick some of this up. And I'm probably gonna be spraying this because you can see when I pick it up, it's a little bit flaky. And those shadows usually benefit from being a little sprayed. So we are gonna put that. That's a really pretty color. It's not super creamy. I'm kind of like used to having something a little creamier. I'm actually thinking I might use my finger because I feel like, yeah, this definitely even better with a finger. And then I'll be a little precise with the brush afterwards. I'm just perfecting with the brush afterwards a little bit. But it definitely worked much better with a finger. I'm using a little bit more of Muir, which is that dark blue. I'm just blending into the shimmer in the outer corner. And then I'm gonna go back. I think I'm gonna use the E01 that I used for the shimmer. I'm gonna clean it off, and then with the light blue, I'm reapplying a little bit of that in the inner corner. I'm gonna use, this is from We Makeup. This is Azurite Blue. It's like a darker blue, but it's not like cobalt. I'm gonna do that in the waterline. I'm also gonna do a little bit just in the outer part of the lid, just to deepen up a little bit. Just a little bit like that. And then I think it's time for mascara and a falsie. It's like just using 3 eyeshadows, and this is a little bit of a lighter palette. It is a little bit more of a, like the tones are a little bit more pastel leaning. I still think the look turned out really good, but I don't know if it's what I'm used to from Gourmande Girls. And I say that as someone who really loves Gourmande Girls and that knows the owner. I don't know if it's exactly what I'm used to. So this is the final look, and I really do like how it looks. I do feel like I was able to create the exact look I was thinking about, and I'm loving how the shimmer is looking. It's so multi-dimensional and pretty, and it may sound like I was a little bit like negative doing this. I'm just used to mattes that have just a little bit more substance than these, but it could also be because I can see even this one, it has that like grayish, almost powdery undertone, but it's like, it's not super saturated, it's a little bit more muted, and sometimes you use white pigments to get that effect. So that could be the reason, because I will say, now that we zoomed out, now that we have the full picture, I do think that it looks absolutely beautiful, and I am sure that I'm gonna dip into this palette and get some of these like lighter shades, because I love complementing my looks with pastel shades or lighter shades, or to just brighten up looks and give it some contrast. And I do like that we have those shades here, and I love the slim packaging as well. So overall, I think it's a really nice one. Is it going to be my favorite palette from Gourmande Girls? I don't know about that as like a whole, but I do think it's going to be one of those palettes that I dip into quite a lot. Now let's get into look number 3, which as I'm filming this, I have no idea what that's going to be. It is time to play with the new collab from Blend Money. This is with DoniDarkowitz, which is her username on Instagram. I think her name is Tosh, and she did this really pretty big palette. I wouldn't say that this necessarily is a rainbow palette because there isn't a yellow in here, but it does have the same kind of characteristics that some of the Blend Money palette has, which is that it is rows of gradients. If I were to give any kind of like, not maybe critique, but the one thing that I thought about when I opened this is that these two greens here are very similar, and when I swatched them, they're also very similar. That could be because of my skin tone. I have a lighter skin tone. The creator of this palette, Tash, does have a deeper skin tone, so on her these might be very different, but on me these two shades are pretty similar. It can also be sometimes when you do a sample, and then sometimes when it goes into bulk production, they're usually made in different machines, and sometimes that changes how the shadow is, which maybe they didn't have time to like catch that before it went into full production. There could be so many different reasons, but that's the one thing that I thought about, is that honestly this entire green row for me is lacking a little bit of contrast. But again, that's a personal preference. I didn't make this palette. This palette does have something that I really love though, which is that it goes from really dark to really light, and I love the like this like almost like matte pastel dusky lilac, and I want to use this one together with the reds because I love a mix of a red, like I love a mix of a cool tone and a warm tone. Let's do actually the highlighter palette first. I did show you some swatches of this one. I'm wondering, I kind of want to use both of these two. I want to see how this one is like a blush topper on me. So I'm gonna be, it's called You, I'm guessing Effing Doorknob. You saw some swatches of these. I just want to see how this one is. Oh yeah. Okay, this is super beautiful as like a blush topper. I am wearing my own blush. This is Timid Tomato from Cinch Beauty, but we are going to be doing, so crazy. So crazy that I now have my own color cosmetics. I've been working so hard and I'm like super, super proud. Oh, I really love that. Like it's almost like a red highlighter. So on me, this is too deep to be a highlighter, but again, it's not meant for my skin tone. But if you are lighter, you can definitely use this as a blush topper. It does not leave a cast, which I think is amazing. Let's do the I'm Your Problem now, which is the more goldy peach one. And I'm gonna do a little bit of that up here. Ooh, that's super pretty. Yes, that is a lot of shine. I can tell that this one has like a blue purple sheen, and this one seems to be more almost like a cool tone white. It's the Skin of a Killer. I love it. Love the shade name of that one. Absolutely amazing. There's also a lip combo in this one, which is a lip liner, and I think this is a gloss, right? I'm pretty sure this is a gloss. Let me open and see. Yes. It smells really nice. It's like a light pinky, like a jelly gloss, but the lip liner is a dark lip liner. I don't really do stuff like that, but is this a black? It's probably has an undertone, but again, on my skin tone, it looks... That's so scary. This is so far out of my comfort zone. I think I'm gonna just ombre this in a little bit. I know you're supposed to do this look with a dark liner and like just a gloss over. It's so far out of my comfort zone, so I'm gonna ease into it by at least ombreing this a little bit. I will say the formula is very creamy. Too creamy for my liking, because I think with a deep liner like this, it's really hard to get it to be precise, but it also means that blending it is easier. Ooh, again, so far out of my comfort zone, but I'm doing the best I can. I do think though that it is important to go out of your comfort zone every now and then and just try something new. And it is really cool. Not my preferred lip, but I can appreciate that it's really cool. And I appreciate that you were definitely able to make this kind of a look with this combo. Like you were able to make this combo with these kind of a products, because I know that this kind of a look has been pretty in as of late. So let me actually start with, I think I'm gonna start with Pain and then Red Mortuary, and I am gonna be using those in the outer corner. But first, a little bit of eye primer, and I'm using, per usual, my favorite from Sigma. So this is the Pain shade. I'm so excited to be doing purple and red. I even found this dress. It has this like little flower on it. I bought this one to wear in New Orleans when I went there on my girls trip with Crater and Friends, and I think it's gonna be perfect for this look. I'm gonna feel very Wednesday Addams. I'm doing it in like half my crease, and then I am gonna fluff this out a little bit. I don't think, as of right now, that I'm gonna blend this out with another color, because I want to keep it red, but we'll see. I might change my mind. So I did some under my eyes, and I ended up just buffing the edge with like a clean EO4. So I think that this looks really good, and now I kind of want to do that. Oh, it's not Red Mortuary, it's Reed Mortuary. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not getting some of these references, so if you know any of these references, do let me know down below. Ooh, that is like delicious Blend Bunny quality right there. Just layering on the like matte shadow like nothing, super pigmented. Really enjoying that. So I'm gonna be, I feel like I'm doing a Halloween look right now. Because of the lips and everything, but I'm gonna be deepening up with this one. Oh, that is so delicious. Let me do a little bit on my lower lash line too. Maybe I'll use an EO7 for that, just a small one. Like one of these like pointy ones. These like little flat ones, they're so perfect for like detail work. I think I'm gonna do that. Oh yeah. Okay, so here we are. I think this is delicious, wonderful, absolutely loving it. And I'm thinking now, I think I'm gonna use, I have a EO4 here that's like almost clean. This is what we can get. It's an almost clean one. Let me see if I can make it even more clean. I think that's good. This is the one I want to use. It's called Is It Everyday? Not It's Everyday, bro. It is It Everyday? And I'm gonna use this in the inner part, and I haven't fully, oh, the contrast is so delicious. You did so good with the contrast with this one. This is making the whole thing worth it for me. You did so good on this shade. It's so beautiful. I know some people are saying that like all the shades are so similar to what Blend Bunny has done before. And I think that like if you own everything, yeah, you might find some things that are a little similar, but most people don't buy every release that a brand does. And I also think that like Blend Bunny is fully aware that when they are collabing with people that have a similar aesthetic to what the brand already has, of course the things that they are creating is going to be fit, like it's going to be a similar like vibe to what they have with the gradients and the more like Instagram-esque makeup. But I do think that this palette has a couple of unexpected things in it, like this purple here. And also there's more shimmers in this one, and I still have not used a single shimmer. But if you're new here, hello, my name is Angie. I'm a matte girly. Honestly, I could leave this look at this. This is so good. This combo is so good. And I think I'm gonna use, oh, loving this combo. So beautiful. I think I'm gonna use a little bit of Moomy. It almost sounds like Moomin, which is those little fluffy white guys from Finland. And I think I'm just gonna put a little bit of that here, just where they meet, just to make it even more like purple. And then we'll put some shimmers. There is this beautiful like lavender shimmer that I'm dying to dig into. Yeah, I think that this purple is gonna help making this go together when we get the shimmer on. Okay, so I'm thinking, it's called Kenneth. I don't know who Kenneth is, but he gets to come and play. He gets to be part of the show. Picks up so beautifully. I am gonna spray it though because I already have mattes down, and usually that just makes everything stick a little better, so we don't get too much fallout. I'm gonna put it here in true Angie style in the inner half of the lid, but not all the way to the inner corner. That is an absolutely stunning shade. Big fan of that shade because it is pale and it is icy, but it's still clearly a lilac. Very beautiful. I'm gonna follow up with a little bit more of the pastel to make sure that we're not losing that, and a little bit more of the purple too. And I think on the edge I'm gonna put a little bit of, I will say, there's Goblet of Fire and Cowboy Country, and I will say in the pan they do look the same, and the shift is the same too. And when I swatched them, they're also the same. Did I get accidentally the same shade? Because they're both green to red duochromes, and I don't want the green. Did I get, like, not duochromes, like multichromes? Did I get the same shade? Because they're the same shade. I don't see a difference. Is one more red and one more burgundy? Maybe one has, yeah, one might have a warmer undertone and one might have a cooler undertone. But I will say these are, yeah, the top one has a warmer undertone and the bottom one has more like a pinky burgundy undertone. But those two shades are very similar. I did not even notice that. Like, is that the same? Maybe they're a little bit too similar. I might have gotten a palette that accidentally has two of the same shades. I'm not sure. But I'm gonna use the She Never Misses shade, which is like the nickname, I think. Like, She Never Misses. I think she uses that as a nickname on Instagram. And it is the metallic purple shade. I think I'm gonna use this one instead. Just on the edge a little bit. Like just a little bit on the edge here to take it into like the red. Ooh, I love a purple shimmer like this too. That's really pretty. And then we'll just go in and mix it with the dark Reed Mortuary again. I think that looks stunning. I did some mascara and I found this like lavender. Is it lavender? I don't know, but it's like a purple one. It's from ColourPop. It's in Amethyst Hour. I don't even know if this is lavender enough, but this is what we're doing in the waterline. I don't like this. Let me find something better. Hold. Let me see if I can remove some of that with like just a Q-tip. Okay, new try. This is Crybaby. This is discontinued, but I wanted the lavender. That is so much better. But this is so old, I might have given myself a pink eye. The sacrifices you have. Let's not argue about that. Okay, so the look is all done and I am absolutely loving this eye look. This is such a me look. And I will say my favorite thing in this, and I don't think anyone's surprised, is the eyeshadow palette. It is still matte heavy, but there are a couple of more shimmers to choose from. I will say I am a little bit surprised at how similar these are. I did not even notice that in the beginning. But yeah, the two greens and these two shimmers are too similar for my liking, but if I look beyond that, I do think that the colors that are in here are absolutely spectacular, and I am like loving how this performs and what kind of combos you can get on the eyes. And also I've been using a lot of yellows as of late, so it's really nice to have a palette that forces me out of my own comfort zone and doesn't have any yellows. I've been loving yellows, but is this unique in my Blend Money collection? To a point, yes, but also to a point, no. I could probably get a similar look to this from the Blend Money palettes that I already own. But with that being said, I don't have a palette that looks exactly like this. The one that gets me the closest vibes is probably the Primal palette, but that one is discontinued. So maybe this one could be like a good substitute for that one in case you did miss the Primal palette. But overall, I think it's a really nice release. I thought the highlighters were really beautiful too, even though they are maybe a smidgen too sparkly to be my perfect highlighter right now. I do appreciate that they have a transparent base so that I can use them as a blush topper in case I want that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the lip products. This just isn't my type of lip combo. But if it is your type of lip combo, it does really do what it's supposed to be doing. It works. It definitely gives the result that I think that the creator was after. I think you're even supposed to just not blur the line, but just do a black line and then a gloss. Again, not my preferred lip combo, but it does what it's supposed to be doing. And I think the gloss is very comfortable. It's like glossy and has some substance to it, but it's not like sticky and also not too like oily or watery. So it's a nice lip gloss formula for sure. I will film another video after this, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna change out the lip because the lip isn't my personal vibe. But let me know what you think about this, and let's go into the fourth palette, which I have no idea what that's gonna be, but you're finding out right now. I actually decided to do a second look with Nomad. Usually when I do these 4 palettes, 4 looks, it's usually first impressions, but this is going to be a second impression, and it's because I am so smitten with this palette. I think it is beautiful, and I want to bring another look, and I want to do something that is not with the reds today. So I think we're going to do a blue outer corner and under eye, and then the inner part we're going to do yellow. And I also want to somehow incorporate this one. I don't know how. We'll figure it out as we go, but I think we're gonna start with these 2 colors in the outer corner and the lower lash line. I know I should be maybe like bringing out a new palette and showing you something else, but hear me when I say this is my favorite Nomad palette. I really think the color story of this one is something else, and I'm just so excited that they're bringing this out. This one truly has the full package. The embossings, the color story, the packaging. I love the formulas in here. The shimmers are so pretty, both swatched out and so far on the eyes. And now we're gonna try even more shades on the eyes. And I've used this once on camera and once outside. And you're probably like, how can you say that this is your favorite palette? I have now been reviewing makeup for 9 years. And of course, like using makeup way longer. But when you review makeup, you kind of start to notice straight away the things that you like in something and the things that you don't. And I can almost at this point, and I say almost, but I really don't mean almost. I mean, I can. At this point, I can swatch an eyeshadow and tell you how it's going to perform on the eyes. And I'm not saying I'm an absolute pro, but rarely does things surprise me. Let's just put it like that. I can almost sometimes look at especially a shimmer and I can see how it's going to be on the eyes, how it's going to be to work with. Again, not like to toot my own horn, but maybe sometimes you should. Like if you're really good at something, it's not bragging to just say like, listen, I'm really good at this thing. If you are, there's nothing wrong with that. And I used this twice, swatched the entire palette, and I'm like, this is my jam. Really, really enjoy the undertones of this palette. They really played with the undertones of this palette, like the different undertones of the yellow, a mustard, a bright yellow, and a pastel. So smart with the two reds, a bright and a dark, and then the blues. They went and did something with this one, I'm telling you. Okay, so that was the shade that's called Mount Hoi. I think I might be somewhere close. And now we're gonna do this one that is Fuji Goko. Again, I don't know if I'm correct, but I think I'm in the neighborhood at least. And I'm just gonna push this on the edge and we are gonna just blend this out a bit. This is one of those shades, and I knew this when I swatched it. This is one of those shades that doesn't pick up good with a finger, but it picks up really good with a brush. And now I'm just using no additional product on the brush, and I'm just blending this out. And I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna use any of the pastel to blend out the edge, but I might. I'm also gonna use this one down here. I'm just going to use a little bit of the pastel Mount Fuji that's in the middle, and I'm just going to brush this on the edge to just pastel this up a little bit. Since this one is so white based and it is very pigmented, you can see it just makes everything a little bit more pastel-y and a little brighter, and that's something that I like. But if you prefer it to be a little bit more muted like this side, just skip the pastel step. In my last look, I played a lot with this like mustardy one. So I thought for this one, we'll do the bright yellow and then we'll do the pastel closer to the inner corner. So this is, I think it's Kojo or Kojo. Kojo. I am not 100% sure, but Kojo seems not totally like impossible. This is like Swedish colors. If you didn't know, I am Swedish. That's why my English is a little wonky at times. It is what it is. But yeah, let's do this in the inner part of the crease. I'm gonna use some of the pastel yellow too. So I'm just basically packing this down, brushing a little bit upwards, and then let's go into the pastel. And then I'm gonna use the shimmers. Oh, the shimmers were so nice. And I wasn't able to use the yellow shimmer last time, but the yellow shimmer is so pretty. I think I'm gonna do just an E1 and on the side, just a little bit yellow here as well. So this is the pastel yellow that's called Yellow Poplar. Yellow Poplar. And I'm putting the pastel yellow in the inner corner, and then I'm gonna brush a little bit on the edges as well. Just brushing this down, and then I'm using a little bit and just, again, I'm brushing it a little bit on the edges to soften them and take them into the pastel yellow. I think that turned out really cool. Let's dig into the shimmers. So what I want to do is that I'm thinking this dark one, this is the darkest one. You can see it has less sheen than the other one. We're doing that here, and then I want to do this in the middle, the peachy, almost champagne-y, and then the yellow on the inner part. So let's start with the dark blue. I have, or maybe start with yellow. I don't know what I'm doing. Famous last words. So this is yellow ginkgo. And I'm putting that on the inner. Oh, I'm so happy we get to use this shade. It's so fun. I think I'm gonna do a little bit on the lower lash line too, just of this one. But like, I don't think I'm gonna do of the other shades. This dark blue shade is called Yamanakaku, I think. Ooh. Yeah, that's really dark and absolutely lovely. And you can tell, I'm just covering up this little part that I didn't bother blending before. There's no point in you spending a lot of time blending your lid when you're gonna put a shimmer on top. You're just gonna cover that up. So I really wanna use a little bit of this Pampas grass. It is like a peachy champagne, and I am gonna put that in the middle. Just where they meet, so it looks like there's just a very shiny edge here. And I am gonna bring that up a little bit on top here as well and just smooth the edge between the yellow and the blue. I think that that looks really good. It's just smoothing it over a little bit. I think it's really fun, and it's very different from my first look that I did with this palette, which was like a red, yellow, blue thing. Okay, so this is the eye look with just mascara before I put the lashes on, and I'm gonna be using, this is from We Makeup. This is the only eye pencil in number 4 Azurite Blue. Azurite? Apparently I cannot say that. And I'm gonna do that because I thought like something that's, again, blue, but a little muted. Just as the eyeshadow would look good. Oh, right? I know this color combo is a little bit more wild and maybe out there, but I think it is a super fun color combo, and I like how this wears together. I just really enjoyed this palette. I've seen some people saying that like they really dislike the color story, that they don't know what to do with it, that they think that it looks ugly. I can't agree. I just think it's so pretty. I think it's so pretty. I think it's so fun. I think it's so innovative. I'm really enjoying how this is looking. I really like it. The only thing I wish I had in here, I would probably exchange one of the blue shades for a dark brown to go with the yellows. That's the only thing that I'm like, oh, I wish I had that. Other than that, I think this is just a really fun and cool color story, and I'm liking everything about this palette. And like in comparison then to the palettes that we have here going on, the 4 palettes that I've been using, I gotta say the Nomad one is my personal favorite. I really enjoy it. I think it's a super, super fun palette. When it comes to this By Us palette, I don't love that the packaging is so thick. I love a good colorful packaging like this, and I love that it's like, you know, not taking makeup too seriously. I love the shiny things. I just wish it was slimmer. The different pans in here are gonna annoy some people. Usually those things, I don't like them either, but at least there is a pattern to, it's like consistently inconsistent, like it's every other. Not my favorite, but I can live with it. All the shimmers come in these little, what are those, like sixteenths? And then the mattes come in the square ones. Again, not my favorite, but I can definitely live with it. I wish this packaging was just slimmer. And I also will say some of the shimmers are that like putty creamy formula. Some people love that. Not my favorite. I wish that, honestly, I wish that the shimmers, all of them, I think this one and this one are more the kind of formula that I like. I don't dislike them, but if I could choose, I would like the non-putty formula. Other than that, I don't dislike the palette at all. I had a really good time playing with it. The Gourmande Girls one, I really like the color story, but I will say I felt like the shimmers they felt different. The shimmers felt different, and some of the mattes were not as opaque as I would want to. The look still turned out beautiful, but I will say the shimmer did crease on me. And usually shimmers don't crease on me unless they have a lot of like emollients to them, or like the kind of thing that you can't have super, because you can tell I have a hood here, so I can't do like shimmer formulas, they're too emollient or that doesn't like set down, they will crease on me. Some of the Adept shadows crease on me. Some of those from the Crow palette creased on me, and this blue one did crease on me. Don't dislike this palette, but my first run with this tells me that it's an okay palette. Not my favorite from Gourmande Girls. I personally think they have done better than this one, but again, I love the pastel shades in here and I'm sure I will reach into them. This collab by Blend Bunny, I like the whole like idea of this, and it's almost like a little Matrix inspired, the packaging. I do wish that Blend Bunny would go a little wilder with the packaging, because when you open up the palettes, they're all just like this matte like black background, and with the shade names, they're all like a little samey, and I kind of wish she would push it a little further with the whole like message, like with her brand, to like bring it to the packaging and bring the vision to be like an all-encompassing thing with her entire brand. I think the quality of this palette is beautiful. I will say these two shades, they're so similar that me personally, I don't need both. These two shades, they're so similar that me personally, I don't need both. And I would say that that is like my one miss with this palette. And I've also said this before, I think this palette is probably a perfect representation of this collaborator DoniDarkowitz vision. I think that when Blend Bunny is collabing with creators that's so tightly aligned with her brand, it's gonna be inevitable that they create things that resemble things that she already has, because they're so tightly aligned with the brand. And I think that's something that you just kind of have to live with. If you're going to collab with people whose favorite makeup is already your brand and you already created their favorite thing, it's going to be sometimes inevitable that the things that they create is going to closely resemble what you already do. I really like the highlighter palette, and I really like that the highlighter palette had a transparent base. I think that's really good. The lip combo wasn't my favorite. It's not my journey. I didn't dislike the quality. It's just not the look that I love for my lips. I think these are really pretty if you love a highlighter that has a little bit of a sparkle in it, because there's definitely a visible sparkle in this one. And it's the same with the Noctilucent palette. It's very blinding, but there is a visible sparkle slash finely milled glitter in there. So if you're not okay with that, I would steer you in a different direction. I hope that this helped out a little bit. I love doing these videos and just going through a bunch of releases, because I know that you, like me, realize that there's a lot of new things coming out on a weekly basis right now. So I hope that these videos help you navigate what's new in the indie community, and if nothing else, give you some inspirations of maybe how to use the makeup that you already have for just makeup tutorials back to back. So I hope you're having a great day. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you in my next video. And bye!